Hey guys, what's going on? It's Carl here, back with another episode, and it has finally been 1 month since I've been using my iPhone. Time seems to be flying by, but before we get into the full review, of course, giveaway winner time. I think we might need a bit of a drum roll here, but... So this winner is being pulled right through Gleam, and congrats to Josh B, and he's actually selected the iPhone 7 in black. This thing right into this FedEx container. Congrats, this iPhone is getting shipped off right after this video. Good stuff. But for everyone else, don't worry. I know there was a lot of hype around this one. I may have potentials for round 2. And from those boxes, you can kind of tell which phone I ended up going for. It happens to be the 7 Plus over the smaller 7. There are a couple reasons for that, and I'll get into those before my full review. So I did start off with a 7, and I think I did prefer the form factor. It fit into my one hand, but that's pretty much it. But the things that really won me over were a battery life, because I need a phone that lasts me the entire day, whereas the 7, maybe around, I would say 6 or 7 p.m., I wouldn't get a full day's worth, and I would have to charge it during the day, which sometimes wasn't an option. The 7 Plus hums along the entire day, don't need to worry about bringing a power bank, don't need to worry about bringing any cables, and I've been completely satisfied with the battery. Even being an extremely heavy user, being on my phone the entire day, the closest I got, I think at 3 a.m. I was at 10%, which should be more than enough for anyone. So now it does come down to colorway. Most people in polls that I've seen online will either be picking between black or jet black. Let's talk about this guy for a bit. This is the fabled unicorn that is impossible to get. I've got mixed feelings about this guy. If you still decide to get jet black, I do have a couple of friends that still went that way. I can only suggest grabbing a skin or a case. This one, D-brand of course, matte black. I think this is the perfect combo. You can see the gloss on the corners and on all the buttons, but most of the phone is protected, which is what you'll need. Protection is always good, trust me. And over the entire month of using the jet black phone, even though I've been super careful, even though I've had a skin on it for half that time, it has still collected some micro scratches. Apple has admitted to that. It's one of those things where it looks really nice in a case or stored away somewhere, but the moment you touch it, it collects fingerprints, you see dust on it, those scratches when the light reflects off of it. Someone like myself who is super OCD cannot handle that, and it's just almost too much for my heart to handle. But of course, everyone isn't like me. Okay, that's enough about the colorways, but that was still one of the most asked questions over the entire month, and I know people are still waiting, so I hope that clarifies a couple things. We'll start off with the things which I've loved about the new iPhone 7. The first, and I think the breadwinner in my books, is the speed and performance of this device. This is hands down, I'm John Ivey, quote me, this is the best iPhone they've ever made. And yeah, a bit of a gimmick, but it is true. This is hands down the fastest iPhone experience, whether you are playing games, 3D intensive games, switching between apps, multitasking, social media, checking emails, watching YouTube videos. I think I've checked off every single thing that I do on my phone, works perfectly on iOS and the iPhone 7. The second thing which we'll talk about is the home button, and I'm gonna stand by the fact, even a month later, I think this is the best home button in redesign that they've done. It's no longer a physical home button, it's all software based, so when the phone is actually off, we'll take this guy, it's off, nothing happens. You can't feel anything as it's solid state. When you're actually pressing the phone when it's on, you feel a small vibration and it almost tricks your mind into thinking that it's real. And that new home button adds to the whole waterproof design, which is the third feature which I'm loving. Waterproof. What can't you love? It's not really a new feature, but now finally iPhones have it. Now I can bring my iPhones into a pool, or not have to worry about spilling it in beer, which has happened before. Rest in peace, iPhone 5S. And the next thing which I'll get to is maybe my second most asked question is, how do you feel without the headphone jack? And personally, I just use the Lightning headphones that came with the phone. They are completely fine. I'm in no way an audiophile and they seem to work for me. I'm not the person that has to listen to music while charging my phone, plus the fact A little pun here, I'm using the Plus so I don't need to worry about the battery dying, and in those other instances where I use other headphones, I've been using the Bose QC35s, and as most of you know, these are Bluetooth. No need for a cable. Let's switch on over to a couple things that might still have you on the fence, and they're not really deal breakers for me, the first being the design. And I get it, it looks the same as the iPhone 6 or 6S. Maybe Apple's thinking is if it's not broken, don't fix it, but I do agree that the bezels are quite large on the device, especially when you compare them to other Android flagships. The second thing people like to compare are the screens, and if you're looking at this at a pure spec base, I get that there will be differences. On the 7, we've got a lower resolution, 750p I believe. On the 7 Plus, it is 1080p. The new 7 does have a better color gamut, but that depends on the content you're watching. If it does support that, then yeah, you might notice a bit of a difference, but once again, that's one of those things that you won't really notice unless you're comparing two devices side by side. Let's finish things off with the camera, and I know that in my 1 week review, I said the 7 Plus had the best camera of any smartphone. I'm gonna retract that fact. It has the best camera for taking pictures if you're looking to use those for social, like Instagram. So generally speaking, photos that you upload on your iPhone look a bit better and less compressed than the ones on your, say, Android device. And the S7 lineup does take some pretty awesome photos, and the new Pixel XL that's rumored to be the best quote-unquote camera on the market, I'll be sure to compare those, but if you grab the 7/7 Plus, I will say you won't be disappointed. They take some pretty awesome photos as well. I have been loving my experience over on the 7 Plus, and I can only hope that this lovely black colorway comes to the new MacBook lineup. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. If you guys like this video, just be sure to go nuts over on that like button as it helps me out a ton. Big thanks to everyone that checked out my iPhone 7/7 Plus giveaway. And remember, if you didn't win, there's always potential for the next one. I will catch the rest of you, of course, in either one of my next episodes or vlogs. Peace!